Welcome to the Grace and Grit podcast, made for women who want their healthiest years to be ahead of them, not behind them. Join your host, Courtney Townley, right now as she breaks down the fairy tale health story you have been chasing all of your life into sensible action steps and lasting change. Hello and welcome to the Grace and Grit podcast. This is your host, Courtney Townley. I'm so happy you're here. And welcome to 2021. I hope you had a great holiday season. And I, for one, am really excited to embark on a new year. I've never really been a fan of New Year's resolutions, but I've always loved the energy of a new year, because it feels like there's a lot of newness about to be born. And man, do I feel that this year more than ever. And I know why I feel that. I feel that because I am intentionally choosing to think that this year is ripe with possibility. Remember, your brain loves to prove itself right and is going to seek evidence for the things that you think about. So it is definitely worth your while to think thoughts that are useful to helping you generate the kind of year you would really love to experience this year. Now, if you've been in the Grace and Grit community for a while, you are well aware that I am starting an event in less than 48 hours called the Healthiest Year Yet. And if you're new to my work, you might just be hearing about this for the first time. The event begins on January 4th. And no matter how new you are to the community or how long you've been around in the community, no matter where you are in your health journey right now, I invite you to join me for this event. I promise it will help to get you started off on the right foot this year, especially in the health arena. It will help you to get grounded and excited about caring for your health in 2021. This is not a fitness challenge. It's not a weight loss challenge. This is not a detox or any kind of overhaul your life overnight program. This is 5 days of powerful lessons and action steps to help you make sure that your head is in the right place for you to show up in the most impactful way along your health journey this year. And it's totally free. This is a totally free mindset reset at the start of 2021. So I hope you will accept my invitation. You can register by going to graceandgrit.com/healthiest year yet. Once again, graceandgrit.com/healthiest year yet. Now, because this is a brand spankin' new year, we are at the start of a brand new year, I want to reintroduce myself. Why? Some of you are like, Courtney, I've been around with your podcast for 6 years. Why do I need a reintroduction? Well, because there's likely a lot of new listeners, and I'm not the same person I was a year ago. And I sincerely hope that you aren't either. Because I believe that life is about evolving and expanding into new versions of who we are until the day we die. Now, when I became a mother 11 years ago, I didn't realize how radically different my son would be at every age and stage. And every time we enter a new age with my kid, I always say, this is my favorite. This is my favorite age. And my husband laughs at me and says, babe, they're all your favorite. And he's totally right. They are all my favorite. But that is how I feel about my own aging process and my own experience of life. I have loved every version of who I have been. Bad hair, heartbreak, failures, and all, because there's been a lot of ugliness. But every age and stage of my life has been my favorite until life presents me with new challenges. And it always does. And I am called to grow even more. And I get to step into a more experienced and robust version of myself, which I then decide to make my new favorite. Because choosing anything else just sucks all the fun out of it. So 2020 presented us all with a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunity for growth. And through everything that we experienced, we changed as people. Personally, I am of the mindset that this year will be my favorite yet, because I'm deciding to make it so. And I will decide that in 2022 and 2023 and 2024. And if I'm lucky, I will still be deciding that at 98 years old, 99 years old, and 100 years old. And I sincerely hope that all of your years will be your favorites too. It literally boils down to making a decision for it to be so. And again, the Healthiest Year Yet event is going to be all about helping you to get clear on the next version of you that you want to step into. So again, do not miss this opportunity. I promise it is going to be amazing. graceandgrit.com/healthiest year yet. Now, as a part of this reintroduction, I want to tell you some of the guiding principles of my work that I do as a health and personal development coach. The first principle that I want to share with you is that I believe that life is transformation. I'm not interested in helping women create once-in-a-lifetime transformations. I'm interested in equipping women with tools that will allow them to lean into a life of transformation. Because again, that's what life is. And that's why I am always choosing to believe that the next version of myself will be my favorite. I'm not interested in helping women achieve momentary wins. I'm interested in who they are committed to becoming. I'm not interested in how much weight you've lost or your personal record at the gym. I'm interested in what motivated you to achieve those things in the first place and how at peace you are with yourself when no one's around. Another principle that guides my work is that health is very multifaceted. It's so much bigger than the diet and exercise conversation that it has been ruthlessly boiled down to. And the longer I am in the wellness industry, which it's been a long road. I mean, I'm 20 plus years in this industry. And I believe more than ever that mental health should trump all else. We should be focusing on mental health above all else. Why? Because it affects everything. Our mental health influences our physical health, our relationships. It influences our emotional health, our capacity to go after the things we really want for our life. And what I see, sadly, is so many women basically risking their mental health in pursuit of physical health or in pursuit of trying to get everybody to like them or to do all things for all people. And ladies, let's face it, right? The diet industry has done an amazing job at conditioning us to believe that health is an outcome. It's a weight on the scale. It's a big bikini-ready body. It's a level of leanness. But the truth is, you can hate your way to a lower number on the scale. You can rock a bikini and still not like yourself. You can exercise yourself to a level of leanness as a distraction from parts of your life that just feel too hard to face. Health, as I have long said, is not an outcome to be achieved. It is a relationship to be nurtured. It is a relationship with yourself. And improving health, improving that relationship, is not purely an exercise in self-love or self-discipline. It really requires both, which of course is why long ago I named my company Grace and Grit. I teach that self-discipline is an act of devotion born out of the love and respect that you have for yourself. And I realize that many, many women, far too many women, don't love and respect themselves, which makes it so understandable why they're having a difficult time getting traction with their health, with their self-care. If you don't think you're worth taking care of, why would you create time and energy to do it? You're not going to. Also, I operate from the space that what you do, the actions you take, are not nearly as important as why you take them. So improving health isn't as simple as focusing on what you do, but why you do the things you do. And as someone who spent the first decade of her career heavily immersed in the fitness industry, and then the second half of my career really heavily rooted in the health coaching industry, I'm more convinced than ever that if you want to experience a state of deep health, that will only be possible for you if you are willing to do deep inner work. In other words, you've got to get deeply honest with yourself, which takes time, and it doesn't always feel good. It requires acknowledging the parts of yourself that you kind of rather the rest of the world just didn't know about, right? The fear, the shame, the frustration, the self-doubt. And this is why it's really not surprising that most people hyper-focus on the easier stuff, like the latest diet and exercise programs, to try to take back control of their health. It doesn't make them really stand face to face with the reality of where shifts truly need to be made. I've worked with women who were working out 7 days a week and paying meticulous attention to every bite of food that went into their mouth, not because they were concerned about their health, but because they were concerned about being liked. That's not health. I've worked with women who appear selfless on the outside because they say yes to everyone else's needs and they rush to everyone else's crisis. But once I start working with them, we come to realize that it's because they lack the confidence to set boundaries with people. That is not health. What somebody does, the actions somebody takes, tells you nothing about the intention behind those actions. And it turns out that why you do anything is really everything. And especially when we're looking at health through a much broader lens, to not just be physical, but to really also include that mental health piece and even put that piece first and foremost. At the end of the day, after, again, more than 20 years in this industry, I operate from the space that improving health is truly a practice of self-leadership. No one can tell you what is best for your life. That is for you to figure out. And again, when we consider all the components to our life, somebody can tell me how to lose X number of pounds. But if what I have to do to accomplish that dismisses all the other things that are important to me in my life, you can see how problematic that will be. Mentors and teachers and gurus can help you develop skills and most definitely give you some tips for traveling a path with less struggle. But nobody knows your life the way you do. Your life is multifaceted, and while the mentors and teachers and coaches can give you directions in very specific areas of your life to develop skills and get closer to particular outcomes, you are responsible for taking into consideration how that advice actually fits into the wholeness of your life. And the honest to God truth is, a lot of advice that you get may not make any sense to the life that you live. Only you get to decide that. Only you will truly know if it fits or not. So my work is hugely encouraging women to develop self-leadership skills inside the health arena so they can stop looking outside of themselves for the answers. And again, it's not to say that you won't hire teachers and you won't learn certain skill sets, but that you are staying truly honest with yourself about why you're doing what you're doing. And that you have truly decided that the step you are taking truly fits into the wholeness of your life. Another principle I work with is consistency. Of course, all of you who've been around for a while, you know I talk a lot about consistency. And the key to being consistent is developing practices that you can sustain rather than chasing results you can't. In other words, you got to learn how to fall in love with the process of honoring your health. Because a lot of people, right, they'll honor their health for a few weeks, a few months, but then they want to take their attention off of it. But if we're considering that health is a relationship that needs to be nurtured, it's the relationship that you have with yourself, that relationship never ends until the day you die. In other words, how do you fall in love with the process of getting to know yourself and respecting yourself? And a big part of that is learning how to be in the process rather than focusing on the outcome. A lot of people are so focused on the outcome, creating the result, that they never really learn how to fall in love with the work. So it makes a lot of sense that when they reach the result, they reach the outcome, they stop doing the things. And then they slide down that slippery slope back to where they started. Learning how to be in your journey and fall in love with the process helps you to develop patience. And, that sounds so obvious, but think about it. When you're focused on reaching an outcome, I must lose X number of pounds by this date. I must, be able to achieve this skill set by this date, make this amount of money, and on it goes, right? When you think in that way, that methodology is very anxiety-ridden, and there's a lot of frustration that is born from purely focusing on a goal. And I'm not saying don't set goals. Goals can be hugely effective and powerful. But once you establish where you want to get to, right, the direction you want to travel in is the way I like to think about it. You want to turn your attention to focusing on the practices that will get you there. And most importantly, adopting practices and managing your mind around them so you actually enjoy them. Health, at the end of the day, through my opinion, is liking who you are, what you do, and why you do the things you do. It is being a deeply authentic and fully expressed human. And the truth about that is not everyone's going to like you for that. A lot of people are going to have opinions about your authenticity and your full expression. And so if you want to achieve deep health, if you want to become a fully expressed and fulfilled human, You've got to be willing to be disliked. And man, we don't like that. The things that we do to try to get other people to like us comes at a very steep price to your mental and often your physical health. And finally, I just want to mention this. There's a lot of other principles I could talk about, but one more that I just will mention here today in this episode is what you make your mistakes and challenges mean will either fuel your capacity to rise or extinguish it. And this I know for sure. Whatever you have planned for 2021, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to screw up. There's going to be challenges and obstacles in your path because that's just life. But when those things arise, if you choose to make those things mean that you're not supposed to continue, that something's wrong with you, that you're broken, you will have a very difficult time building consistency and staying the course. You are supposed to fail. You are supposed to have challenges and obstacles in your path. You are supposed to rumble along your journey because that's how you learn. That's how you grow. When we think about the act of actual resistance training, like strength training, that is literally a practice of breaking down muscle tissue so it builds itself back in a more robust way. And life does that to us, right? It breaks us down in small and big ways. And if we are willing to do our inner work to move through that, which can look like a lot of different things, we become more resilient and more robust on the other side. It is such a gift to have those things in our life, to have the failures, to make the mistakes. And I know we don't tend to look at it that way, but I would invite you to really consider shifting the way you look at those things in the year to come, especially along your health journey, because I know it will make a massive difference. And we're going to do a deep dive into that very topic in the Healthiest Year Yet event. So I am super excited to see all that we will be birthed this year in the health arena and beyond. For me, for you, and for the world at large. And there's a quote that I've read once upon a time. I have no idea who said it. I didn't Google it before I did this podcast today to see who said it, but you can do it if you're curious. But the quote is that struggle is a sign of something new being born. And again, 2020 was ripe with struggle. It was ripe with uncertainty. And now it's our responsibility to ensure that goodness is born of that. Goodness can be born of that. So I'm committed to that. I am committed to making 2021 a year of new things being born. And I hope you are too. And if you truly are committed to that, do not miss this event. Again, Healthiest Year Yet. We start January 4th. It is free. It is totally online. 5 days of me teaching and coaching and answering questions and all of the things. And you can register by going to graceandgrit.com/healthiest year yet. You are amazing. You are so worthy. And I am so excited to see what you make of this year. I hope you'll join me in the Healthiest Year Yet challenge. And I will see you again very soon. Take care, my friends. Thank you for listening to the Grace and Grit podcast. It is time to mend the fabric of the female health story. And it starts with you taking radical responsibility for your own self-care. You are worth the effort. And with a little grace and grit, anything is possible.